WNYWatercooler.com.
As coaches, we failed to get through to them. As coaches, we failed to make our coaching points and our points more compelling than their fat little girlfriends. Now, their fat little girlfriends have some obvious advantages. For one thing, their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are and how easy it's going to be, and how we had a whole bunch of people. Everybody wanted to win the football game, but nobody wanted to play the football game. Well, that defies every level of work ethic that exists with regard to football. And as coaches, we have to solve our failure on reaching them, and the players have to listen. And I'm willing to go to fairly amazing lengths to try to make that happen. I don't know if I'll be successful this week or not, but I am going to try, and there will be some people inconvenienced. And if it happens to be their fat little girlfriends, too bad.
Welcome back, WNYWatercooler.com podcast. We got our magnificent co-host, and Steve online.
First time in 15 years calling me magnificent. I love it. Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Not sarcastic. Oh, I tried to get Bucky Gleason or Bob DeCesare, or however you said that dude's name, just to see if they'd say something that I'd agree with that they'd get canceled for, but couldn't get him on the line.
Starting off with Jerry Sullivan this week, or what?
You gotta step on eggshells in this country. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the
no, I don't
Josh
care about
Allen
talking
thing,
about that game.
Well, the Josh Allen thing, I mean, was a big story this week. But our reporters suck. They either don't ask. I mean, he didn't even ask a question.
Yeah, no, I agreed with you there. I mean, you can't just make a statement like, okay, buddy, no one cares about your opinion. If he asked him a question, it would have been fine.
Ask a question about why he thinks the offense isn't good. Like, say, oh, what is going on with this? Or why isn't this working? But instead just being like, oh, your offense isn't Super Bowl caliber. Like, what kind of response is he expecting?
Yeah, there's not really anything that Josh Ypoo was supposed to respond to with that. And the other thing, I mean, he's in a basement drinking beer with like 20-year-old dudes on a podcast. It's kind of strange.
It is strange. Yeah,
he's trying to like be cool or something. I don't know.
I know, and it's. I mean, what he said was dumb, and he probably deserved his fate. So I don't know. He got fired from everywhere, didn't he? WIVP, Niagara Gazette, wherever else he worked. Everyone fired him.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, whatever. The other thing, Cole Beasley. I mean, is this like a nightmare, a dream, a joke? I can't tell if being serious with these preposterous moves.
You have a better idea?
Not trade up for a cornerback.
You can't. Do you have a better idea right now?
I don't know. I guess not. I mean, does anyone really expect anything from this dude? If he doesn't tear his hamstring before Christmas, I'd be surprised.
I don't know what to expect from him. I don't think it seems like people are excited. I mean, I think.
Oh, it's because people are losers.
I think it was. I mean, we need help at that position specifically, and he's probably your best chance to get it right now, based on knowing the team, knowing the system. I guess probably knowing.
Do you remember his last game?
Yeah, for the Bills.
Oh, the last game he played in the NFL.
He played for Tampa for 2 games.
Well, yeah, I knew he was on the roster. I didn't know that he played 2 games with them. He played week 3 and 4. They lost them both. They played Tampa and KC. He had 4 catches on 5 targets for 17 yards.
Yeah.
And then he just retired. He's like, fuck this. I don't know.
He said that like, I forget something about how the receivers on the roster, I think guys were hurt. Maybe Godwin was hurt at the time. Like they really needed guys. And he said like, oh, the guys that are coming back are making too much money for them to like not play or something.
Well, yeah. And I think the other dickhead was suspended a couple of games. And I'm not sure if that was the same time. It was right around that time. Mike Evans, he was suspended at least 1 game, I think.
Yeah.
Or something.
I don't know. I mean, at the end of last year, it seemed like he lost a step, but he still had like 80 catches on the season. So, and where would that? I mean, who's got the second most catches on our team right now? And how many catches is that? Like 30?
It's pretty
So,
bleak.
I mean, he would have like double the amount of receptions. I mean, if he wasn't so expensive, they probably would have kept him this season. But he cost like $7 million, so they cut him, and now they're getting him back for like nothing. So if he has anything left in the tank to be able, I mean, can he have like 5 for 42? Can he average 4 for 38? Can he average that in a game? Like that would be helpful for us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting paid. His contract was for too much money. So yeah, they couldn't afford that. Do you know how many catches that Diggs has this year? Jeez,
like 100.
94. Yeah, I mean he left kind of on bad terms. He like talks shit about Buffalo, or I mean he like argues with people on Twitter. Like, dude, are you not that busy? I don't understand these. Like, don't they have something else to do?
Yeah, the Twitter stuff is just like, I don't know.
And he has some other stuff, like allegedly some of his raps. But
you were saying that.
But no one wants to look into that. Everyone's like, oh well, it's the Bills. Gee golly.
I know nothing. I have no opinion. I don't know anything else about. I mean, he did leave on bad terms. I thought his COVID shit was annoying. I don't give a shit what he thinks about COVID, but he didn't need to make it like a thing. Like,
he's going up on rants and rants and rants.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like shut up. No one cares.
Yeah, and just right. Like, we don't need distractions. But from a football standpoint, he plays a position that we clearly couldn't replace. McKenzie didn't step into that role, and I don't know. There's been a ripple down effect as the season has gone on, and they need to. Obviously, they're desperate.
Clearly, I mean, John Brown and Beasley. It's like 2018. Like I'm living like,
Except these guys are washed. Brown, I mean, right. These guys know the system. That's the only reason why it makes sense. Like they're
cheap as hell, and they know. I mean,
easier to acclimate.
I mean, Allen seems to have had some say in it or whatever. But McKenzie has 38 catches. He's number 2, tied with Davis for 38 catches. Knox has 37. I mean, obviously he's a tight end. Shakir is 8.
So these guys are going to end up with like
45,
50 catches in 17 games.
Yeah, I mean, Davis is just having a
Shakir with 8 receptions. I mean, I don't know. It seems like he has shown enough where they could have maybe used him a little bit more, but I guess not. I don't know.
Crowder has 6. Isaiah Hodgins has 4.
Yeah,
why did we let that dude go?
We had to put him. What do we have to do? Like release him? What do we wanted to send him to the practice squad?
He's probably on the practice squad. We elevated him, and then, I mean, I guess if he's on the practice squad, it's his choice. He could stay with us. Maybe I don't know. He probably just didn't think that he'd get up ahead of some of these scrubs. But I mean, McKenzie, the dude, I was trying to look for videos of his drops from Sunday. I couldn't really
think of a bunch. He had
I saw him, but I couldn't find replays of him.
He had 2 big drops on third downs too. Like we had like a third and
quarter.
3rd and 15 or something. We had it was a 3rd and long up the sideline. Ball was right on the money. He just went right through his hands. Then one of our field goal drives, we were driving, and Allen hit him on like a crosser, and it just went off the 6 and just incomplete.
Yeah.
So I mean,
2 people I go with, they didn't even sit with me during games. I'm sitting there by myself half the friggin' time. That game, Jets game. Oh my god, that was some bad weather. I mean, it like just started downpouring at noon, like right at noon too. It's like, oh great, it was awesome.
Yeah. So you think the weather was the factor or what?
No, I think the Jets are good. I think
the Jets are good too. I think that we had a lot of drops.
McKenzie can't catch. McKenzie can't catch.
Had drops. Singletary dropped like a 10-yard pass. Knox I want to say, I don't remember if Brown had a deep ball that he should have had. I mean, obviously, I guess I shouldn't say he should have had. It's John Brown, but we have our players, receivers and corners have to be the weakest, on the ball players. Like, can we make a contested catch or break up a contested ball on defense? Like, the Jets converted like 5 3rd and 10s plus in the game.
And they didn't do anything. I mean, really nothing. The whole first half, I'm like sitting there just thinking, like, what is going on? I should have left at halftime. That game is horrific for the first 25 minutes.
Oh, it was horrific for the first 29 until the tight end fake QB sneak draw offside play.
Yeah.
That was sick. Led to a TD.
Yeah, we probably weren't going to snap it either. We got lucky. And then
they say like, oh, we might have, but I don't think we were snapping it. We were at like we were on our own side of the field.
Yeah, I mean the way that game was going, I don't think they were going to do that. But I mean the Jets just did nothing. I was saying there's no way they were going to cover the 10, or I would have been shocked. But I did think there'd be a lot more points. I mean, the weather was. They never were saying it was going to be that bad. I didn't think, but
yeah, it looked. I mean, it was bad out. It was, it looked bad on TV. It was windy too. Like it wasn't.
It wasn't horrific wind, but there was some.
Oh, and then the whole talk again is about the offense all the time. I said last week that this game was on the defense to just smother the Jets, and they did, and they won. And you don't need to be like. Everything is always about the offense. When you're playing a team that isn't as good as you, with an offense that is clearly is going to have a tough time scoring, then all you got to do to win the game is not turn it over. 3rd and longs, you play it a little bit more conservatively. Like you can play winning football without just like airing it out. We only threw 26 passes in the game. Like I'm just so sick of everything being about like style points.
Surprisingly, I agree. Actually, I agree with you. I mean, we're winning these games. I mean, the games were never. It's not like they were tied going into the fourth quarter. We're handily up in almost all these games. Most of them.
Even the Vikings game, pretty much every game. Even our losses, we were up 14-3 against the Jets. We were up 27-10 against the Vikes. Those are 2 of our losses. So, yeah, it's about winning. It's not about like having Allen throw 50 passes. I mean, everyone's,
it's because in GR they have nothing else to talk about because we're winning and they hate taking phone calls and they hate having anyone with another opinion, so no one calls them. They all have the same. They sound the same. They say the same shit. All of the hosts on there. So, what are they going to say?
We were awful on 3rd down in that game. 2 for 13 on 3rd downs. Obviously terrible, but we had. I wanted to check for this podcast, but I didn't. We had I want to say we had to have had like 5 or 6 penalties on the offensive line in the game that set us back like 2nd and 3rd and longs. And when you're winning and you're playing a team that your defense is handling, why be crazy aggressive on like 3rd and 12s? Just there's no need for it.
Yeah, we had no turnovers and they had the big fumble. Did they have another turnover too? I mean.
They had a fumble. Yeah, they had 2 fumbles actually.
We had a blocked punt, right? I mean that.
Yeah, they blocked
a punt. Replay of that was kind of it went right out of the end zone, right? They weren't even close to recovering.
No, it went right out of the end zone. But yeah, it was 20-7. They blocked the punt and they got a field goal late. But I don't know. I think obviously I wish our offense looked a little better, but given the weather, given the opponent. It's all about winning games. I mean, if we did things a little bit differently, like kicking a field goal against Minnesota to go up 30-17, you win that game. So like, you don't need. It's not all about like, oh man, we got to be throwing it all over the yard. No, you don't. We have
we're not losing shutout. We're not losing shootouts to great teams. I mean, the Vikings game we did lose, but it was kind of almost like a miracle. I mean. The way that happened, the fumble in the end zone, the 4th and 18 or whatever, 4th and whatever it was. I mean, those are like acts of God almost.
Yeah, those 2 for sure. So I just, I want the offense to play better, but like if you're going to dominate a team If your defense is dominating a team, then I don't need the offense to be throwing the ball 50 times. Like it's just not. I mean, look at the Chargers. You know, everyone's obsessed with Herbert. We've talked about it a million times on this podcast. He's like the talk of the league again this year. How amazing he is. They scored 23 points. He threw 51 passes. We scored 20 points and like did nothing. So it's just I don't know. Like the point is to win.
Yeah, and they almost choked that game away.
Yeah, like I'm sick of the obsession with passing stats. All that matters is passing stats, and
yeah, WGR hates talking about defense. Like,
and guess what else? We don't even have the horses on offense. Our running backs aren't good. We have one good receiver. So like, why would you want to even have that type of game plan right now? I don't know.
With the way they're playing, yeah, the receivers. Last I was going to bring up on Cole Beasley. So last year he had against the Dolphins, he had 14 catches. I mean, it's a somewhat different team, but I feel like their defense is just very similar. But 14 catches, 17 targets, 146 yards in the 2 games. And then 2 years ago, he sat out week 17, but he had the one game he played in 20 against them, 5 catches for 70 yards. So dude's putting up over 70 yards on this squad the last two years.
Yeah. I mean, he was good for us. He was good for us all last season. It seemed like he lost a step at the end of last year. I mean, he had a good game in the playoff game, I think, against KC. I mean, I don't maybe not New England, but I think he had a bunch of catches against KC. So he's always been a reliable target for Allen. And right now we have like, if it's 2nd and 10, I feel like we don't have like a 6-yard like play in our back pocket. And I don't know, maybe he can.
Yeah, and that's really that's what he'll do is turn around, find a pocket, a little hole in the zone or whatever. 6 yards, fall down.
Third and short, we're awful. Third and short. Can you help in 3rd and short?
And maybe we could use McKenzie in a different way. I mean, he's pretty much useless lately. I mean, maybe they could just do something different with him now. I don't know. McKenzie's clearly not the answer there. So yeah, they can use him more like they used to as like a gadget player and a man coverage beater, and not have to have him playing. I don't know. The guy's just so inconsistent, McKenzie. He's just not reliable. He has some great games, makes some great plays, but then he'll just kill you with drops. He's had so many drops this season. He used to be more sure-handed, but I don't know. So Dolphins, I mean, I hate this Dolphins team. There's just something about this team I really do not like them. The coach,
yeah, I know.
I mean, it's kind of funny. Okay, I wish it was colder or whatever, but dude, you're going to come down here and like your team is going to be freezing their dicks off. What are you talking? Why are you like? I don't get it. Maybe that's his weird motivational shit.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, they had a bunch of close wins. We talked about it. They barely beat Pittsburgh. They barely beat the Lions. They barely beat Chicago. But their schedule has been. We've had the hardest schedule in the league. You know that? Yeah. Strength of victory, strength of whatever. We've had the hardest schedule league. I feel like these teams we're competing against are playing cupcakes every week. KC is Houston this week. They just played Denver. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they almost lost to Denver. I mean, Denver finally played for like a second like they're supposed to be playing all year. But, I mean, the Dolphins, their schedule can't be that much different than ours, but the way some of it landed, I think.
Well, they didn't have KC. They didn't have Tennessee. They play Houston. I don't know. I mean, they've.
Oh yeah, who'd they play? Well, they played the Chargers in the West, and they lost there. But
they lost the Chargers game.
But the schedule they got, man, that's pretty rough. You had to play Niners, Chargers, and then Bills on a short week in December. Although, I mean, we had to go there in friggin' July or whatever the hell that was.
They had a tough stretch here, but they had their first, they had a super easy schedule the whole after they played us, basically. So, I don't know. I mean,
what does the line open up at? Right now it's 7. Bills -7. Over is 43.5. I thought it was like 5.5. Was it 6.5?
I think it was somewhere around 6.5, 7. Yeah, yeah, I don't
They
know. I
must
don't know
think
what it
there's going to
was.
be a lot of snow. They must think there's going to be a lot of snow with that over.
What's the over under? What is it?
43.5.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely do. Yeah, they must. Yeah, if it was good weather, the Bills Dolphins over under would have to be like at least 50.
49. Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, they're pretty good. They got a good offense. They got good players. Their offense didn't do much against us, but they only ran 30 something plays. But we were missing half our team that game. We had 500 yards of offense, but we ran like 80 plays, and they ran like 35 or something.
Yeah, I went back and looked at that game. Like someone else mentioned it to me, but Allen had the one fumble like inside our own 20, right? But he didn't have any picks.
Yeah.
Did we lose any fumbles? I mean, how did we not?
He had that turnover. We had did we even punt? I don't like we got stopped on downs a bunch. We had that fourth and goal where he short armed McKenzie. I want to say it was like first and goal
at the end
like
of the
from
game.
the one. Yeah, like to win it. And then our last drive, we blocked their punt to cut it to 2. And then they had the free kick and the guy like blasted it.
Yeah.
Like
so we had some empty yards there, but
well, and then we got stuck like we completed a pass to McKenzie and like couldn't spike it in time, and then that was it. I just remember the loss was like
I was just shaking my head. I'm just like I could that game seemed unfathomable. I mean,
they made one play on offense.
Tool came back in, even though he looked like he was dying, and they had.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they had a 3rd and 17, which was one of the worst plays of the season so far, where they hit Waddle on like the deep crosser in between Johnson and Hamlin. We didn't have Poyer. Obviously, we didn't have White. I feel like we were missing a bunch of guys on D that game. And then we obviously had Benford went out early. Spencer Brown. I think Morse was out. We had like Van Roten playing center.
Oh yeah, didn't our center get hurt? And then I felt like the snaps in that game were like Allen had to do like acrobatics just to get some of those snaps. But
well, I think we had like a short yard. I think we had like that last drive we had like I can't remember. I thought it was 1st or 2nd and goal from like the 1, and we didn't do a QB sneak because I feel like they didn't trust the exchange. So I don't know. But I remember Van Roten was playing center, and so we had a lot of guys go down. In that game.
Well, Milano's not practicing this week. I was just looking at the injury report. This is Wednesday, but I mean, for the Dolphins, Armstead, their left tackle, he's probably going to be out, seemingly, or he hasn't been practicing. But Hills seems healthy, although I don't know. He hurt his ankle pretty bad, I thought, in that game just a few days ago. But maybe
I think Milano's rest of the season is going to be like DNP's Wednesday, Thursday, or, the first 2 days, and then practice on the last. He's dealing with a knee injury, but it seems he obviously can play through it, so they're probably just going to take it easy practice-wise with him, but I'd expect him to play. It's no different than last week.
And it's weird. We win, the Bills win, and they don't clinch, but it's like they'd have to lose out, and the Dolphins would have to win out to win the division. I mean, I guess anything.
There's weird scenarios. I think somehow New England would be alive too. If like they could win out and get to 11-6.
Yeah, they'd have to win here. I don't know. That team still looked like Patriots still looked like shit. They like barely beat Arizona.
Kyler Murray got hurt on like the first drive.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so not that team looked like trash against us. They didn't even want to be there. I think the Jets are better than New England.
Yeah, I would take the Jets over them.
Even though the Pats swept them, but
well, I guess head to head, I don't know. There's something about Belichick just completely owning them. strange. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
it's just a bad matchup for them always. But I mean, they're the Jets. They're always going to be the Jets until they're not anymore. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
That
they got good
coach,
play. They got good players though, man. On defense, they're loaded. Their corners are really good. Our offensive line got obliterated. The penalties, I mean, they couldn't block them at all. Like our interior O line was just getting blown up like constantly. I don't know. It just seemed like a real mismatch up front. Our offense versus their defensive lines.
and then I don't get Saleh is like we'll see him again. Like I
I don't know what
honestly
that
don't know
means.
what that means. Does he think that they're going to play him again this year? Does he not know the schedule, or he thinks that we're going to have the same
Future
exact
years.
team next year?
Maybe he
The
needs
Jets
to.
are going to be a completely different team next year.
Yeah, we'll see what they. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do at quarterback.
I mean, they're
I
going to
mean,
have to go after
they
like
got.
Garoppolo or something.
Yeah,
Or well, actually, maybe not Garoppolo now.
if they get a quarterback, they're definitely. I mean, Wilson is really good. I mean, they got good players on offense too. Hall will come back. They got a tight end that's decent. They got a good old lineman, and I think a couple of them are at least isn't like they're. What's
Yeah,
his
they have
name?
some guys
Becton?
offensive line, but I mean those guys, a couple of guys they have are always hurt. But with their cap, I don't. I mean, they can't afford to miss on like whatever quarterback if they sign some guy, and they're not going to have a high draft pick. But I mean, they can.
No. They hit the well. They nailed them this year. That's for sure.
Yeah,
So
well,
then they might
it
have the
helps to have three
offensive and
first-round picks.
defensive rookie in the year. Who was the other first rounder?
He was like one of their DNs.
Oh,
He
the
had a
guy
big
from FSU.
maybe I don't know
I forget his name now. I don't know if he was a rookie or
Jermaine or
second.
Jeremiah or something.
Jermaine. I wanted to say Jermaine Johnson, but that might be wrong. But yeah, I mean, they're good, man. They got freaking good players all over the field. Tough matchup for us, especially. I don't know. Our offensive line is just struggling.
And
So
even our left tackle, the guy, he gets a lot of penalties. I feel like
he had a bunch. He had a bunch too.
Snowman needs to wake up.
Couple holdings, I think. A false start or two. There was one where he just like started to pull way before the snap, and he was, I don't know. Yeah, it was not a good game for them, and that's what that really hurt us on offense. That and the drops. So I don't know, but they got the win.
Yeah, I mean, they did what they needed to, and again, it never really felt that close. I mean, when they had that fumble, I think it was in the third quarter. I mean, it felt like a big play, but I mean, ultimately, it didn't really seem to matter that much. But so I was just looking at Cook's touches. He had one catch and he had 4 rushes for.
He did nothing. Yeah, he did nothing.
He had 15 yards. I mean,
Singletary did nothing too.
if they're
Allen,
if the O line's not getting pushed, I guess it's. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think Allen, I definitely think that's part of it. But Allen's led the team in rushing 8 times this season, and I don't even feel like we're really running him a lot. I don't know. It's like the running game. I know like our rushing stats like aren't that bad when you look at our team, but I don't know. You don't want your quarterback leading your team in rushing 8 out of 13 games. It's not, it's not like we have. I bet you Jalen Hurts hasn't even led his team in rushing in 8 games this year. Maybe he has, but
Well, they have a good running back, but
yeah, good offensive line. They have like the best offensive line in the league.
yeah, but the Eagles have had a soft schedule too. I mean, if you're talking about that strength of schedule, I think theirs is pretty low, but
yeah,
they still play the Cowboys again. I mean, that'll be interesting week 17. I think if it matters, it might not.
They played Dallas, I think Christmas Eve.
Oh, maybe week 16.
But they're 2 games clear. I mean, they probably have to win one more. The biggest concern for the Eagles is probably having too much time between playing games that matter. Like they might lock up the 1 seed, and have 4 weeks until they play
month
a
off,
real
yeah.
game again. Yeah, I wouldn't like that at all. I mean, I guess I
Well,
would, but
I mean, back to the Dolphins. Them coming into our barn, it's going to be. I mean, what's the temperature? The high
20. I think it's going to be like in the 20s with 15 to 30 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, they're saying Saturday night, 65% chance of. Yeah, it's a low of 22, high of 32. I mean,
it's going to be cold, man. It's going to be cold. Wind chill is going to be single digits.
yeah, wind chill. Okay.
It's not going to be. You don't like wind chill? It's
No,
not going
I
to be
don't
a
like
throw
wind
it over
chill.
the. It's not going to be a throw it all over the yard type game. That's for sure.
Saying wind 10 to 15 miles an hour.
Oh, I thought it saw 15, 30.
Well, I mean, that's just on weather.com, but it's going to be a waning crescent moon, 81% humidity.
I think we have a good record with crescent moons.
Well, probably. I mean, they like to pile up wins in this weak division, but this year the division's actually not bad.
Yeah, our schedule's been a gauntlet. We haven't had an easy. What was our last easy game? Pittsburgh. Honestly, Green Bay, I guess maybe.
Yeah,
Green Bay. Yeah, Green Bay and Pittsburgh are the worst teams we've played.
Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins. I just hate that coach so much. I don't know. He gets some. I hate when these guys get credit for not doing anything yet. Like their whole offense is throw it to Tyreek Hill. Dude piles up 150. He's gonna like break the reception record.
And the same thing happened with Staley. And if you look at the Dolphins, what was their record last season? 9-8. Like, is it even a guarantee that they
Flores
have a? Yeah, what was their record last season? Look that up. They could end up with like the same record as last year after all of this. I mean, they play us. I think they play the Jets and Pats. Maybe not the I think they play us, Jets, Pats, and even I think they have another good team. Like they have a hard schedule.
Yeah, they're 9-8. They finished third in the division.
Yeah, like they could finish 9-8 this year after all of the McDaniel obsession, Tua obsession, everything. They could end up in the same spot they were.
Yeah, they play the Packers on Christmas, and then they have to play at the Patriots on New Year's Day. And then
which is going to be a huge game. Those are all huge games. Like no guaranteed wins there. So I don't know. The media loves a new fun story. It's an 18-week season.
It would be funny if they ended up with the same exact record. But...
Yeah, could happen. 1-3 the rest of the way. They're 9-8.
And the way that the Bills better come out motivated after the way they celebrated that basically luck ass win back in September where we're dying.
Yeah, I mean it's like they won the Super Bowl.
The team better come out motivated and just be laughing at these guys. I want someone on the field pregame in cutoff shirt and shorts, skipping around or something. I think the Dolphins are going to come off that bus and I feel like they could be in quit mode.
I have a tough time. I could be wrong, but I have a tough time seeing Tua having much success in these conditions. I don't know. He could get hurt in this game. Hope he doesn't, but I don't know. I mean, we're going to come after him.
He couldn't do much against the Chargers in perfect weather. He looked horrible in that game.
Same with the Niners game.
Yeah. The Niners game, maybe I'm thinking of more, where he just seemed like everything was just off, completely, just off a foot or two, and off the receiver's hands, outstretched hands and stuff.
And the other thing, you said those games were good weather, and it's like they have a hill bomb. That's all. I feel like that's all they had, a one hill deep ball the last 2 weeks, and everything else they did nothing. He was 10 of 28 against the Chargers, and I think the Chargers are missing half their defense. So I don't know. I mean, he could come out against us and light it up, but I would be surprised. I can't see that scenario.
Yeah, I need the line to go down to 6.5 now. I'll pile on a couple inches of snow and money on this game. To me, it's similar to last week, but the exact opposite of like we're not going to cover. But this one, I'd be surprised if we don't cover.
I just hope the snow isn't like that Colts game. Like
where it's just like a coin flip, and I can't see the freaking field from my seat.
Well, it snowed like 8 inches like during the game, and so by the second half, I feel like from the whole game, it was like there was 3, 4, 5 inches on the snow. Like you couldn't even like run offense or do anything. It was just like luck.
Well, and the Dolphins have a lot of running backs, but they don't run the ball that well. And the one dude that they traded for, he's hurt. Wilson's hurt. I don't think he's going to play.
But they got Mostert and they got rid of who else they got? They got Mostert and who? I don't even know. But I mean, Allen's the biggest weapon in a game like this. So
well, yeah, that would come down to Allen running the ball a lot, and then he's going to bust his elbow. I mean, what about like players like James Cook? I mean, has he ever played in the snow? I mean,
doubt it.
He needs to watch some Shady McCoy friggin' highlights. I'll tell you.
Yeah, he does. Well, Cook, he went to Georgia, right?
Yeah.
SEC. He's never played in this weather. No, I mean they got a taste of it last week, I guess, and didn't really go that well for Cook. Did nothing.
They got Myles Gaskin and Salvin Ahmed. I don't know who that is, but yeah, Jeff Wilson's probably out.
So I mean, it's going to be a run the football, play defense type game, just like the Jets game. That's how we got to play it. You can't turn it over deep in your own end. You can't give up 80-yard touchdown runs like you did against the Pats.
And that River Craycroft guy, he's questionable. That guy, I don't even know him, and I don't like him. Just his name alone pisses me off.
Never even heard of him.
I think he had a touchdown against us in the first game.
I can't stand Gesicki. That dude bothers me.
He's a goof. I
feel like he always like lights it up against us, and then he gets so pumped, and I just don't like him.
He hasn't really done much this year. They tried to like get rid of him, but we got like 30 seconds left, so let's get a prediction.
17-3. 17-3. Bills.
17-3.
I'm expecting snow to be a problem.
What time you get in the lot? I mean, the weather.
Friday?
Good.
Your favorite topic?
Yeah, weather and wind chill. I'll go. I think there's going to be some points piled up, but I'll go 30-19. I think the Bills will win relatively comfortable, and then it's going to be a shootout.
Let's go. 11-3.
We'll see you at the lot.
Later.
Okay, it's gutter hope. All about my bills like Buffalo. Shit, I'm all about the bills like Thurman Thomas.
We're not making a playoff.
I don't tip, I pay bills. Bitches call me Buffalo.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
In